Well, greetings from wet and windy Winnipeg. And it is really windy out there. I put out carrots this morning, and I put the carrots down on the sidewalk pad there, and some of them started to blow away. Well, it didn't blow away very far, but they started to roll around. Yeah. You know, right now it's just a tiny bit above freezing outside. It's 0.1 Celsius. So that 0.1 is good. That means that our snow isn't going to turn, or our rain rather, is not going to turn to snow. But with this wind, if the temperature drops, and the weather person says that it's going to, we could have big drifts again. Because it's drizzling right now. And that drizzle will turn to snow. And this wind will drift it. Anyway, enough about the weather. It's just that when you're here in it, it kind of is on your mind all the time, and you can hear it rumbling the house outside, and it's just sort of got this feeling like you're glad you're inside, and you're glad the electricity's still on. Anyway, I did come back to the model table last night. I worked on our walrus, and I'm realizing now that I missed a couple of windows, the lower windows on the sides. Well, we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's roll back and see how we got to this place. Okay, continuing right along here this afternoon. If you remember, at the end of yesterday's episode, we had our aircraft mounted upside down on the blue tack. And we used some extra thin on the joint there to try and, loosen it. I imagine that if I had have kept at it for quite a while, eventually it would have worked its way in. But I think what happened is that the area is so large. It's not like a little small place, like say where the struts are from the wing floats that go up and attach the wing. Something like that. Yeah, you could remove that quite easily, I believe. But something large like this, where it takes a while for the solvent to work its way in and dissolve the glue and plastic, yeah, it just takes too long. So we had said that we were going to try to very carefully take our Tamiya nipper here and go as close to the flush to the wing as we can, and then cut it off. Now I think what I'm going to do is, yes, I'm going to do that. However, I'm going to watch and see if anything is deforming badly on the top side of the bottom wing. I'll try and do that on camera. I'll put the macro lens on, and we will just do our best here. Or I think the macro lens is going to be too close. What I'll do is I'll zoom this one in as close as we can go here. I think I can move it a little bit closer like this and get it in focus, and it should work out. That would actually probably be the best. Okay, now I want to get that as flush to the bottom of the wing as I can, and just cut with the tips. Okay. Now, I don't think it's going to change. I don't need to hold it anymore. I've kind of bit into it there a little bit. Now, let's hold this where you can see the the top of the wing, and so can I. Now, when I nip this off, unless I see a hole forming, it's going to drop away. So I'm just going to hold it by the bottom left wing here. And I'm slowly squeezing, and I'm watching the top. Nothing's happening. I'm not seeing anything. I'm going through. Okay. Well, I'm scared to look. That's all right. That's okay. I'll just paint that over. Yeah. Yeah. That turned out actually better than I thought, and it's fairly flush with the bottom of the wing. So I'm not going to even try and sand that. I'm just going to... a little bit of a bump there. Maybe I could just sort of scrape that off. I'm just going to paint that over. Yeah. But I'm not going to do that again, I'll tell you. Okay. I know that this is not going to match up perfectly, but I'm not going to say any more that we're not going to see it from the bottom anyway. Okay, we'll just let that dry now. Now I painted the other tire and cleaned my airbrush up, and then I realized that the tail wheel here may as well give it the illusion of being rubber. Okay, we have a decision to make here. The decision is basically, do I paint the clear blue or do I just leave it the way it is? Now, if you will notice, this top piece right here that I'm just touching right now, is that supposed to be a window that's really, you know, angled back? Or is only the windscreen the front here? Well, obviously with the sides you can tell that they are windows. But let's try and find some photos before we start messing around with our clear blue. Yeah, and then we'll put the micro lens in and I'll show you why I think it's going to be a problem to try and paint this. Now, if we go on the internet, we find a lot of different photos of this aircraft and a few drawings. Now, it's very hard to find a picture taken from above, like an actual photograph. Now, I could find drawings that were taken. There's even a picture of a Lego creation of this aircraft. But I did find one. But anyway, I'm just going to scroll down here and just show you all the different photos that are on the internet. I had no idea that this particular plane was so popular. Or maybe because it was so numerous, I believe there was a lot of them produced. Anyway. It says, show more results, but I think we've probably seen enough, right? Now, I am quite sure that there were many different variations of this same aircraft. Possibly not all of them had the great visibility shown in this photo. The two guys sitting in the front, they'd be able to see all around and above them. Yeah, so I think we don't need to worry about maybe putting on too much of that clear blue. Yeah, I think we may as well just sort of, well, I was going to say sop it on, but maybe that's the wrong expression. Okay, now keeping that black and white photo in mind that we were just looking at, this is my thinking on this, and it could be this brush is not the best thing to point with. Try not to bump it. Okay, now, it appeared to me that the glass, there was this sloping part, and then it also went part way back. Now you'll notice that there's a little bit of a, you might say, a line right here. I'm thinking of running a piece of masking tape across the roof of the fuselage here, and paint everything forward of that with the blue. And I'm thinking maybe if I could run a piece of masking tape along the nose part, okay, and it would help to make a defining line. Now it should be fairly easy, I would think, to keep the paint inside these square windows on the side. You notice there's 3 of them, large one in the front and 2 smaller ones in the back. And you know that the paneling color might actually work good there, but I don't want to be using that. I want to use this blue, and I believe it's the same on both sides here. Yeah, it's the same on both sides. So that's what I'm going to try to do, and it's going to be the kind of thing I can't really do on camera, so I'm just going to go ahead and carefully do it. I've got to figure out a way to hold this thing down so that, you know, it doesn't move. I obviously can't do it sitting loose like this, so I'm going to have to clamp the fuselage in some sort of a little clamp other than my fingers. Now, do you remember this stuff here? We used this when we were doing around the stern of the Bismarck. At least I think we did. And I'm thinking that it might be flexible enough to go around the nose, over the nose, and around the front of the window. I don't know if you heard that, but we've got quite a storm going on here. We've got thunder and lightning going on, and just got a message from Kevin down in South Dakota. They're having all kinds of strange snowstorms. Don't know what's going on with the world. Yeah, where's that global warming? Anyway, maybe it is the global warming. Yeah, so I'm going to try that. I'm going to use this to go over the nose here. At least that's the plan. Do I have it straight? It looks pretty straight. I wish it was more curved back, though. I'm concerned that I get something to poke this down with, where that seam is that I should have done something about. This may not be a good idea. I might be better off, yes, using the piece of masking tape to go across the roof here. Might be a good idea. Maybe I could use this yet. Why not? Something like that. That looks fairly straight. And then I think what I'm going to have to try to do is take my brush and very carefully try and work my way down to the nose of the aircraft. If I turn this thing up so at 90 degrees so it's looking straight up, I think I can probably do it. Yeah. Now, the lid on this was so tight, I couldn't get it. And I ended up having to use my heat gun to loosen the plastic. This is going to be the first time I've taken it off, though. I hope I haven't damaged anything by using the heat gun. I don't think I did. Alright, now. we're just going to try it on the roof here. We're just going to work our way forward from the masking tape. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. And then, are there any bubbles on there that shouldn't be? I don't think so. Then I'm going to turn it up 90 degrees and do across the front, and then roll it over on one side and do the side windows, and the other side and do the other side. And I think it's going to be alright. Now, I was just thinking it might be a good idea to take this masking tape off now before it dries, because what I'm thinking is it could possibly get kind of rubbery and just peel right off the roof. At arm's length it'll be alright, I guess. I'm seeing some has worked its way along the seam that I should have sanded down or scraped down. Arm's length, it'll be okay. Okay, very carefully now. I'm hoping that's going to level out. It's not quite right on this corner, is it? There. The same on the other corner. All right. Let's let that dry. Okay, here we go again. Got bubbles there. Try and get rid of those bubbles. There, I think that's okay. Should I just do this little tiny corner here, maybe? Maybe that wasn't a good idea. Okay. No, I don't think that I came over and onto the roof. If I did, I can always I have to touch up the roof anyway, where it wicked its way up that seam. Okay, let's turn it over and do the other side now. I'm gonna clean my little brush first. No, I wasn't going to use the macro lens because you'll be able to see that it's not going as good as I'm making out it is. get in that corner there. Maybe I should use my little brush here. Whoops. I went over the edge. There. Got it down in the corner. Got a bubble going on there. There, it's gone. Okay, yeah, let's just leave that and see how it looks. Okay, I think I'm going to call it quits. Right now it's 8:35 in the evening. And our storm has more or less passed over, although it's still going pretty good out there. And I just checked the weather and the radar and everything, and they said it might turn to snow by morning, so we'll see in the morning. Yeah, we'll see you in the morning. Oh, I just looked in the monitor here. I think I should really do this just a little bit here. It kind of looks like I peeled some off there. Let's get some on there. There. Okay, let's quit while the quitting's good. Now we'll see you in the morning. Okay, it is morning. And if you've been watching this entire video so far non-stop without fast forwarding through it, and if you did fast forward through it, I don't blame you. About 20 minutes ago, I was talking about a window that I missed. Well, I guess I missed it because when I had the walrus positioned and the tweezers the other way, the end of the tweezers sort of covered this up. But that is actually a window. And I'm going to use my small paintbrush. I'm not going to use the bigger one here. And let's put the macro lens on and get right in and see what kind of a job I can do here. Now, I do not want to hear myself saying, whoops. Whoops. Now, can I rub that off? Maybe with a Q-tip. Got one of Tennessee Jim's here. No, you know what? It's dry already. Oh no, I got it. All right, it's better than it was. Yeah, I think at arm's length this is going to look all right. I'm not going to try and mess with it anymore here. Although there's sort of a, whoops. Try and come in from this angle maybe. Hope I'm not getting my fingers in your way here. I don't know if I made it better or worse. No, I made it worse. Yeah, maybe that's the secret. Yeah, just didn't put enough on. Okay, I'm thinking when that dries, it's probably gonna shrink a little bit. Okay, check it out later. And now the other side. Okay, let's quit while it's not too bad. No, that wasn't very gentle. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and edit out the footage that I just took here. Give this a little bit more of a chance to dry. And then I think we are about ready to try and mount this on the catapult. And also the catapult on the turret. And then we're going to be done with this. And we can move on to the hull, which I've been talking about for about 3 weeks. Anyway, no, we're not done. I gotta take the silver and try and touch up right here on the top of the on the roof part. Yeah, it kind of ran a little bit, didn't it? If I can see it looking at it right now like this, well, that's going to show. I don't think anything else has to be touched up. We already touched up there. Yeah. Okay, change in plans. I just noticed here the lids have blown off of the bird feeder. And a moment ago they were flapping around pretty good there. I better go and do something about that before something gets broken. Yeah. Then we'll do our aluminum here. Now it was kind of sleeting out there, and some of my cameras are getting kind of, you might say, frosted over. Well, not frosted, but the the lenses are getting covered with moisture and what have you. And I know normally you see nice clear pictures, but sorry, I can't provide you with that today. But I think you'll get the idea of what's going on. Hey, if I've got to suffer, you've got to suffer too. I'm just kidding. Well, you are going to be able to tell your grandchildren that you were at Ron's model table the the day it was so windy in Winnipeg that it blew the lids right off of the bird feeders, and you saw it happen. Anyway, I remembered Pizza Day. And, yeah, you know what? I usually take a bite and say, or something like that. But I think I'm just going to leave it now. It's not quite noon yet. But I didn't want to forget about it like I did last week. I want to talk about this, though, before we close here. Well, I do have a confession to make. There's a piece missing. I went to take the plate off the table and I don't know, I just couldn't control myself. Anyway, what I was thinking of is, I'm wondering if this whole apparatus would have looked better. Like, for instance, this is going to be mounted on top of here. But would this have maybe looked better if the sled part of it, or trolley, was at the back at the beginning of the catapult, as though it was going to be catapulted off the end. I'm just thinking, but I think what's happened now is I have glued it on there so solidly that to try and break it loose at this point. Now I do believe that the step that's on the bottom here, I haven't tried to put this on yet. You're going to see it along with me for the first time. But that's going to have to be in the next episode because we're kind of running out of time here. I just got a phone call from somebody and they're going to be wanting to come over for coffee pretty soon. So I got to wrap this episode up. It's pretty long anyway. So yeah, we'll deal with this tomorrow. So thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.